In the mountainous lands of ancient Thessaly, where the air was thick with the scent of strange herbs and the moon cast long, eerie shadows, a chilling reputation preceded its women. They were the Witches of Thessaly, masters of sorcery, capable of bending the will of the gods and twisting the very fabric of reality. Their power was a source of fear and awe, and to challenge it was to invite a curse far more terrifying than any mortal could imagine: the Witches of ancient Thessaly. This was a curse not of a single spell, but of a pervasive spiritual chaos that slowly unraveled the very order and logic of a man's life. Our story begins in the 1st century BCE with centurion Lucius, a proud and pragmatic Roman soldier. Lucius, stationed in a remote outpost of Thessaly, scoffed at the local legends of sorcery. He saw the witches as nothing more than cunning herbalists and charlatans, their rituals silly superstitions. In a brazen act of arrogance, he publicly mocked their sacred rites, desecrating a small altar and ridiculing their prophecies. As Lucius returned to his barracks, a subtle, insidious change began to plague him. The order and discipline he so prided himself on began to unravel. His meticulously organized scrolls became a tangled mess. His well-trained soldiers, once a model of Roman discipline, became unruly and insubordinate. His once sharp mind, a tool of tactical genius, became a chaos of jumbled thoughts and disjointed plans. The world around him, once a place of predictable order, became a source of constant frustration and confusion. The true curse of the witches of ancient Thessaly was a spiritual echo of cosmic chaos. The witches, as masters of spiritual order and chaos, had been grievously disrespected. In a terrible mirroring, they inflicted upon Lucius a curse that made his world unravel. The curse was an insidious psychological horror that slowly eroded his sanity and his sense of control, replacing them with the spiritual chaos of their own making, turning him into a living host for the echoes of their twisted magic. Driven to despair by his own mental decline and the relentless chaos that plagued his life, Lucius sought the counsel of a reclusive local hermit, who understood the ancient ways. The hermit explained that Lucius had not simply mocked a few women. He had challenged the very spiritual order of the land. The witches, offended by his disrespect, were now slowly unraveling his life. Only by acknowledging their power and performing a profound and selfless act of atonement could he hope to restore order to his world. Humbled and broken, Lucius made a desperate decision. He returned to the place where he had desecrated the altar alone. In the dead of night, he rebuilt the altar and knelt in solemn silence. He did not offer prayers to Roman gods, but spoke of recognition and repentance, honoring the power of the witches and acknowledging the profound arrogance of his actions. He offered a lock of his own hairpiece of himself to the wind, giving a symbol of his life to buy his soul's freedom. As he completed his act of restitution, a profound sense of peace washed over him. The chaos lifted, and his sense of order returned. The witches of ancient Thessaly, their sanctity restored, finally released their grip. Lucius lived the rest of his life not as a celebrated centurion, but as a quiet advocate for respecting the beliefs of all people, forever changed by the spiritual battle he had fought. The legend endures as a grim reminder that some curses are not brought by a monster's strength, but by its insidious psychological hold, and that even the most powerful man can be humbled by the forces of the unseen world. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.